Hello. Oh my gosh. I think I may have actually figured out this whole thing with Facebook. Not 100%. I'm not 100% positive about that, but I am very excited that it seems like there is a little bit of a delay. I will say that. But it seems like I am actually getting the hang of this, okay? Um, can't really get something's wrong. Okay, so, I got a lot to say tonight. Well, hello, Mel Bailey. How are you? Okay, I got a lot to say. All right, first, let's just talk about some of my favorite stuff. I just want to say I'm so proud of all of those women at the Miss Universe pageant for standing up in solidarity against, like, that man who I don't know his name, but he seems to be some sort of Thailand official, I think. I'm not sure about that. I'm not 100%. But it doesn't matter who he is. He is saying derogatory things to a woman that is much younger than him, and in a space and place that maybe he should rethink his actions. Okay? I have heard the non-apology. I am just so proud of all of those women from other countries, just maybe not even completely like understanding because there's a lot of language barriers at Miss Universe, as I understand it. But they all just like, they were like, yeah, I'm out. I'm out. Understanding that, I mean, he called security on her, on Miss Mexico, Miss Universe Mexico. Seriously? I mean, that's just horrible. Horrible. So I'm just so impressed that those women just were like, yeah, no, we're out. So when they called security on her, or when he called security on her, and I did see that part of the video, that they were just like, we're gonna go ahead and leave too. So as I understand it, they're now the Thailand or the Miss Universe like officials and people are trying to either limit or eliminate his position at the pageant, which goes live, I believe, November 21st. I just want to, I can't actually remember, okay? But yeah, November 21st. So I know Mercury's still retrograde when this happens. So, that was a bad Mercury retrograde moment for that man. And granted, Mercury wasn't retrograde like completely. It was just in the shadow. But still, just letting you know, this is the kind of stuff that is happening during this Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde, I keep telling y'all, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Why is it kind of crazy? Well, first of all, Mercury is in opposition of Uranus, our planet of chaos, not directly in opposition the whole time, but it hits its direct opposition on the 19th. But the thing is, the energy's still there. The energy is still there. All right. It's opposing forces and it's still there. All right. You can still feel that energy of this Mercury retrograde being in opposition of Uranus. And Uranus is retrograde. So this is, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. I mean, I'm pleasant, but this is not a pleasant Mercury retrograde energy. Also, tomorrow, let's just double check on my calculations here. Yes, tomorrow, Mars is actually conjunct Mercury in retrograde. Not the easiest Mercury retrograde. It's not. Not that this stuff is ever easy, but let me tell you, I got my little Ganeshas all over the joint because stuff always goes haywire with me during Mercury retrograde, especially electronics. Now, that being said, the one thing you do want to do during Mercury retrograde is you want to clean up some of your messes. All right. So you want to fix some of the stuff that has been messed up. It's a great time to do that. It's a great time to clean up some of this stuff. So what I've been doing is just that. I've been cleaning up stuff that I'm just like, oh, I really messed that up, because I mess up stuff a lot. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all know me like personally, but I screw up all the time. I mean, I overbook myself. I like double schedule stuff. I mean, I need an assistant. I need another me. But that's okay. But I overextend myself and then I can't get things done, like my website. So that's been a really big thing that I've been working on this Mercury retrograde. It's not creating something new. It's not starting something new. It's fixing something that I already have established. Does that make sense? So that's an okay time to do that. Fixing, doing something like that. I'm fixing up some of the things in my office that I've just been sort of just going, I'll get to it. And then now the next thing I know, there's like a layer of dust on it. And I'm just like, oh shit, now what? So, we're going to clean some stuff up. That's what we're doing. I'm streamlining my schedule a little bit, making things a little bit easier for myself. I'm correcting some of the stuff. I'm letting go of some of the baggage. Again, this is stuff that you want to do during Mercury retrograde, especially this one when it's opposing the planet of chaos. So much fun. And conjunct Mars. I mean, just not loving it. Not loving it. All right. So that being said, we've got Mercury in retrograde. Okay. Now, at the same time that we have Mercury in retrograde, we also have South Node in Virgo. There's a reason I'm coming to this. There is. So we have South Node in Virgo. That means that we are overanalyzing things that we either need to release, need to redo, need to heal, need to work out. We're overanalyzing them. Why are we doing that? Because that's what Virgo does. Yes, so glad you agree with me, Mel. And I know that's probably, I have your whole name somewhere. But anyway, I'm so glad you agree with me. Anyway, I'm telling you that this particular time, Virgo's ruler, Mercury, is retrograde. We have South Node in Virgo. And we got a lot, there's a lot happening with that. So everybody is getting a little picky with the stuff that they need to heal, they need to let go of, they need to work on. And this is going to happen until 2026, midway through 2026. June, July, I can't actually remember because I didn't write it down. Why didn't I write this down? It's in 2026. I believe that's when North Node moves into Aquarius. Then that's going to be super fun because Pluto's already in Aquarius. Who's excited about that? But at least it'll be in a 1 year. Okay, so we've got South Node in Virgo. We've got Virgo's ruler retrograde in Sagittarius. It is retrograding back into Scorpio on, hang on, I'm going to find it, on the 18th. But there's a lot of stuff happening with our communication, with our connections, all that because of Mercury, okay? That being said, today is 11/11. Today is November 11th. I love numerology, y'all. You know I love numerology. I literally have a whole channel for numerology now. I don't even do zodiac readings on it anymore. I do this live show. I do some reviews every now and then, and I do numerology. This is who I am. So on 11/11, all right, it is a good manifesting day. Why is it a good manifesting day? Well, 11 is a very powerful number in numerology, right? It's the first of the master numbers. It's pretty awesome. It is. I love it when my clients call me up and they're like, I'm seeing 1111 on the clocks. I'm seeing it on receipts. You know, what does this mean? I got you. I mean, really. But let's talk about the day. I break numerology down into years, months, and days. When we look at the numerology for today, 11 plus 11 is 22, plus the year that we're in, which is a 9, all right? That all equals 31. 31 is a 4. In numerology, 4 is a wonderful manifester. But the reason why 4 is such a wonderful manifester is because it works hard. It works really, really hard. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that you're a master number 11. This is so perfect. So anyway, today is actually a 4 in numerology. I've re-added it a couple of times. I have. Because when you break it down, 22, does break down to a 4. And then, of course, 4 plus 9 is 4, because that's 13. It still comes out to a 4. I sort of play with numbers a little bit, because anytime when I'm doing numerology, if I get a 2, a 4, a 6, or an 8, I re-add those numbers over and over and over again to see if I can get a 22, an 11, a 22, a 33, or a 44. Okay, so back to this. The 4 is a really good manifester because it's a good work. It's a good work ethic. This is a builder. It's somebody who wants to help build and strengthen relationships, businesses, families, jobs. This is a workhorse, okay? These are people that have, they can overwork themselves because they get so immersed in it. They really do focus on what we need to get done. They're very organized, they're very practical, and they're just like gung-ho. Now, I say that because I am a 22-4. Yeah. So, remember when I was saying I overbooked myself? Right. So, I'm saying all that to tell you, yes, today would be a great day to manifest, especially since we're in a 9-year. And, we go in cycles of 9 years, right? So next year, we're starting a new cycle because we're moving into a 1 year. So we're moving into this 1 year in 2026. We're moving into a new cycle. Love that. I love it. I'm so excited because this year is the end of a cycle. So this 11/11 should be a wonderful time for us to manifest because we're ending a cycle. We're going to get to start a new cycle, a new 9-year cycle in 2026. Very exciting, right? But man, we've got Mercury retrograde opposing Uranus. Yes, Uranus is back in Taurus. I mean, we've got all this stuff happening and shaking out. This is not the best time to be manifesting something new and getting it to come out good. That's where we will have to redo it all. I'm not saying you shouldn't manifest during an 11/11. I'm not saying that you shouldn't manifest during a 9-year or a 4 whatever. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't manifest whenever you want to. I'm just telling you it's not what I would do. And let me tell you, you want to talk about manifesting? Girl, pull up a chair. Let's start talking about manifesting for the next hour and a half. Well, I have a lot to say tonight, so this is not the time. But the thing is, I like to talk about manifesting. I do. And I encourage everybody to get out there, work hard, and manifest what you want and make it happen, right? But not today. there's all these people on the internet that are just like, oh my gosh, it's the best time, the 11/11 portal, blah, blah, blah. I get it. And I'm 100% with you usually. But this is not the day. It's not the day. And I just think because of the placements, because there's so many things going on in astrology, it's not the time. It really, really isn't. Okay? I mean, I'm just saying, that's my opinion. You go do what you need to do. If you feel like that you want to do some magical manifesting mojo today on 11/11 in 2025, then you go to it. I'm abstaining from that because of all the stuff that I just mentioned. This is my opinion. It is not something I am telling you to do or not to do or whatever. Use your own judgment. Now, as I'm telling you all of this stuff that's happening astrologically, we're talking about the 11/11 portal. I've got something in my eye. What is going on? Oh, sorry. Okay. So, I want to get to the nitty gritty. I want to talk about, and it's been sent to me several times today, about Kim Kardashian talking about her psychics being pathological liars. Hun, I get it. Now, I want to tell you, when I talk about my clients on here, I don't use their names. Half the time, I'm not even using their real genders. If they're talking about living in Minnesota, then I'm going to tell you that they live in Florida. If they live in Colorado, I may tell you they live in Virginia. I'm not giving you anything that you can go and look up and figure out who my clients are. Okay? Just that being said. Because I'm going to give you some examples of things that I have told past clients, current clients, and why some people don't come to me for readings anymore, or why people come to me, exclusively for their readings. Again, I'm not judging. And if some of my clients say, hey, I use other readers, I'm like, go to it. Because first of all, they may need to validate something I've said to them. They may need me to validate something another reader has said to them. And it's not my time and it's not my money. You go do what you need to do. Do all of my clients listen to me when I tell them stuff? Absolutely not. Nope. 100%. Nope. I have clients that I've said, that man, woman, or goat is not going to marry you. And they don't believe me. And they stay with them for years longer. And then they come back and say, I have wasted my time. This person is not going to propose to me, or this person is not going to marry me. Yeah, we established that. And they're just like, but I was holding on to hope. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a complete waste of your time, because that was you hoping something was going to happen. Now, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for, something to change. But until something changes, like you changing, that scenario is not going to change. So there's that. I have I have clients that have gotten divorced, or left their spouses, or walked away from jobs or businesses or whatever, after a long time of me saying, this ain't it. This ain't it. But they have to be ready. They have to be ready for it. Okay? And I'll stick with them while we're in it, especially if I see that they're still trying, and they're trying to work out their own problems, their own issues, so that they can leave that situation. Because I know some of their traumas, but I don't know all of their traumas. Not even people's guides are going to tell me everything that's happened to them. Yeah. So, I had clients like years ago. I mean, this has been a long time, years ago. They came to me, and they came to me as a pair, saying that they wanted to leave where they were, where they currently were living. All right. Didn't really care for their jobs, didn't care for their living situation, didn't care for it at all. And let's say they wanted to move from Alabama to, I don't know, a touristy state, Florida. All right. Again, this is an example. It happened, but I've changed a lot of stuff. So they came to me and I was like, sure. I like laid out the cards. I did all the stuff. I like connected with their guides, and I was like, there's some really good possibilities here. And we talked about several different places where they could live. I encouraged them to like get outside more, start a garden, because their guide was like really saying, hey, I can help you if you get outside more. I can connect with you there. I can help you if you are exercising more. I can connect with you there. Now, about 8 months later, they came back to where I was working at the time. They came back and they were like, yeah, we don't want to see you. I was like, okay, no harm, no foul. And I was like, it doesn't hurt me. You know, go see whoever you want. It's your time and money. Go to it. And the one person was really mad and said, well, you know, you told us that we were going to be living in Florida and have like this job and all this by now. And I went, oh, okay, yeah. So did you apply for jobs there? No. Did you look for houses there? No. Well, the state of Florida is not going to come to you and be like, hey, we have got a really great setup for you. Okay. We've got this home. We've got a job for you. We're going to pay for your move. We're going to just take care of it. All you have to do is show up. And when I said that to them like that, they were just like, oh. And I was like, did you just stop trying? Yeah, they did. They completely stopped trying. And I was like, why didn't you look for something why didn't you activate that? Manifesting is work. Why didn't you work on it? And they were just like, oh, right. So then that day, and that was like almost 10 years ago. It might be 10 years ago. I started saying to people, manifesting is not sitting on your ass, watching a Love Boat, drinking a Coors. It's not. It's work. It's work. It's putting in the effort to make things happen. Okay? I do have a point to make. I promise. Manifest for better health. I developed a rash on a leg that does not want to go away. I need to talk to you about that. Mel Bailey, I have had something like this happen to me. Hold, please. So dealing with that, I have seen this over and over and over again with people. When I tell them, and this is another reason why I asked my guides to give me percentages. Because I could still see something, happening for somebody. Like I would be reading for somebody and I would be like, oh yeah, you know, like I see you doing this, I see you doing this. And they would be like, great. And they would stop. They would stop trying. So then I was like, nope, give me percentages. So then my guides started giving me percentages, and they would say, all right, there's a 60% chance that this is going to happen for them. However, they have to keep going in the direction that they're going. there's an 80% chance that they will be unhappy with this person. But they're headed in that direction, and this is who they're going to end up with. So I started telling people percentages, again, about 10 years ago. And I was like, sure, okay. And so when I started doing that, and I started opening myself up, and I started seeing that nothing, almost nothing is 100%. I mean, seriously, almost nothing is 100%. I can talk to somebody and they've gotten something that they wanted. They've gotten a new car. They've gotten a new house. They've started dating somebody new. They've been able to, I don't know, buy a laundromat or buy a dry cleaner or renovate a school building. They've been able to do this. I still see, I won't see 100%. I will see like 99, 98, and it's already happened. I know. On the flip side, I very rarely see anything less than like 10%. So someone can say, is this a good idea? And I can say, well, not really. There's not a lot of light around it. There is some light there, but I don't see this coming to fruition. I don't see this being a good thing for you. I see it as about like 11 or 12% that's going to be a good thing for you. And they're like, oh, but there's still a percent. Yeah. I mean, there's a percent that I'm going to win the lottery, which is why I buy tickets every week. But I'm also not buying $1,000 worth of tickets because somebody has told me that I'm going to win the lottery. Do you see the difference? Yeah. Sorry, my hair's falling out. Anyway, so you have to look at things like that. All right. When you go to a psychic, when you go to someone who is reading for you, whether they're a medium, whether they're doing tarot or whatever kind of cards or discipline that they have, astrology, numerology, whatever they are doing, listen to them. Listen, because it is some sort of guidance, but also listen to your gut. I also have several clients who are readers themselves because I can't read for myself, but they're also readers themselves. And they will be like, I really feel like I need to do this. And I'm like, well, then you should probably do it. And they're like, yeah, but what do you see? And I'm like, well, to be honest with you, I'll tell them what I see. I see this or I see this. And they're like, okay, I'm going to do what's right for me. And I'm like, I think you should. Please. I'm here as like guidance. It's not absolute. It's not. But I have a client that was just like, am I going to get into this school? Am I going to get into this school? And I was like, another reader told her it wasn't going to happen. And she was like, I just doubled down on it. I just doubled down on the energy. And she called me this morning and she was just like, I got in. And I was like, yeah. She goes, you were the one that told me I was going to get in. And I said, but it was because of the energy that you were putting behind it. It was because somebody else told you weren't going to, and you doubled down and put a lot of energy behind it. That worked. That was amazing. Got a lot of good stuff there. At the same time, I see people that wreck their chances, for something. Again, another client of mine. Now, this person hasn't told me, but I know that they didn't get something that they were trying to achieve. It was a milestone for them. I know that they didn't get it. This person hasn't come and told me. But at the same time, I'm like asking my guides, going, how did they wreck it? And they did. Because they just were like, it's in the bag. I got it. So they stopped working for it. They deserved it, but they stopped working for it. They stopped putting their face in there. They stopped putting, like, doing stuff that would get their name in other people's mouths. And they didn't get it. Something that they were working very hard for initially, and then they just stopped. Other things distracted them, to be fair. One is something that was very unhealthy for them, but it distracted them from their goal. Okay, so we need to revisit that, but they haven't told me yet, so I have to wait until they call, because I can't do it. I can't call them up and go, well, I know you messed up. That's not how I operate. So, and another client told me that when I think she was in high school, she had prayed and prayed and prayed to make, like, the dance team for her school or whatever. Dance team, drill team, majorette. You know, it was one of those things that you perform at halftime at, like, football games in high school. And she was just like, I had just prayed really hard for it. I just knew that I was going to get it. But I also stopped practicing. So I didn't do as good of a job as, like, some of the other people that had been practicing really hard. Huh. That is a perfect example of Kim Kardashian. I don't read for her. Let me be clear about that. She is not my client. I do not know this woman. I'm very, very grateful to her and her sisters for making big asses very popular, because I have one. And I've had one since high school. It ain't going away. It's just getting bigger. So the thing is, there's a lot of stuff that sometimes, like, and this is kind of funny. This girl that I went to high school with, I wanted to read for her one time, and she was like, absolutely not. She said, because somebody read my tea leaves one time and every bad thing came true. Okay, if you didn't like the reading, then change something. And I also tell my clients that there is something, like, in my face. I'm so sorry. I also tell my clients that. I'm like, if you don't like the reading, change something. One of my clients didn't like her reading that she got from another reader when they told her she wasn't going to get into this school that she wanted to go to. So she doubled down on her efforts. She changed something. And I saw it. I saw that she was going to get in because she had already, like, put in extra effort. She had already been manifesting harder. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Expecting different results. Yes. Oh my gosh. But the thing is, I want to tell you guys that you have to put in effort. The universe rewards effort. It does. The other thing that I want to tell you is that even if you feel like you're going to fail at something, I saw this on a clip on YouTube the other day where this journalist was asking this man, I think he played soccer. He was from another country, and I know soccer is huge in, like, Europe, and I mean, it's huge all over the world, right? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But this man who was playing soccer, they lost their game. And the journalist was just like, well, how do you feel about this failure? And the guy was like, you know what? You asked me this last time. You asked me, how did I feel about failing? I don't feel like this game was a failure. And he was very clear about that. He was like, I don't feel like this game was a failure. When you look at Michael Jordan, he played for 15 years, but he only won like 6 titles or 6 rings or whatever it is that you get in the NBA. And he said, are the other 9 years failures? No, he learned something. He learned something. He worked hard. He kept achieving. That is success. And that's what the universe rewards. Keep trying, keep getting out there. It's just like I have a couple of businesses with my husband. And the thing is, they didn't take off immediately. They didn't. This channel didn't take off immediately. I had to walk away from a channel that had 4,000 subscribers because of a business partnership. Because someone accused me of stealing money from a business that I had to pour money into every month. Literally. And she did it on when somebody was recording her. And it was so crazy because she goes, oh my gosh, are you recording this? And the guy that she was talking to, she didn't look at the girl. The guy that she was talking to goes, oh my gosh, are you recording this? And he goes, no, I'm not. And she goes, oh, good, because that would really hurt Jennifer's feelings. You think? I was pouring money into our business partnership. I was putting at least $120 to $150 into this business every month, but she accused me of stealing. And so I walked away from a channel that had 4,000 subscribers and I started over. And it's okay. It's okay because I needed to explore. I needed to change. I needed to do some stuff for me. And that's okay. I don't consider that a failure. I don't. I did for a little while. I'll be honest with you. I did. But I don't consider it a failure now. I'm just glad I tried. I'm glad that I stepped out. I'm glad that I did this. And now I'm glad that I'm doing it independently. So, again, you getting out there and trying, you get out there and manifest what you want. The universe is probably going to bring you something better if you're working hard towards it. Now let's get over to, again, Kim Kardashian. Let's talk about the timing, all right? I looked at her chart. I'm nosy as hell, people. It's okay, Mel, and I appreciate you for doing that. And yes, Walt Disney, that is 100% right. Yes. So, hey, Carol, how are you? So I looked up Kim Kardashian's chart because I'm nosy, you know? And I'm going to tell you, I have some theories. So first of all, apparently she is like a whole host of psychics that their family goes and sees. All right. I don't know these people. I don't know these psychics. I wouldn't know them from, one of my clients says can of paint. I wouldn't know them from Adam's house cat. That's what my mom and my grandmother used to say, you know. But they may have been seeing that she was going to pass her bar exam because she was putting in the effort, because she was working so hard for it. And I do believe that this woman was working hard for it. One of the reasons why is because she is a 22-4 in numerology. That's number one. Number two, her birthday is sitting on the cusp between Scorpio and Libra. She is the 21st of October. So she is right on that cusp of Libra into Scorpio. And I believe when she took the bar exam, there was probably still some good stuff going on with like Venus and her ruler, you know, Libra, her technical ruler. However, when I looked closer at her chart, her midheaven, her job, her passion what she came here to do, right, is in Virgo. Virgo. That being said, South Node, as I said at the beginning here, South Node is in Virgo right now. Mercury is retrograde. Is this the best time for the ruler of her midheaven for her to be taking this exam? That's number one. Because when South Node is in Virgo, we get very analytical about what we need to heal, what we need to release, what we need to work on. We get super picky about it, and we may get stuck in those decisions. That's the challenge of having South Node in Virgo. Now, here's the other thing. What if they told her she was going to pass the bar exam and she lost that spark, that edge, the passion or the adrenaline rush that she needed to get over that hump? What if that's what she needed to propel her forward? What if, and I'm not saying I'm going to read for the Kardashians. Oh my gosh, this is not what I'm saying. But what if one of her readers had said, there's an 82% chance that you're going to pass it the first time. There's a 89% chance that you'll pass it the second time. But when you look at the percentages like that, and I'm not even saying that those are the accurate percentages, I'm giving you examples. But if you look at the percentages like that, what if she heard there's an 82% chance that you're going to pass it the first time? And she was like, what about the other 18%? Because that's exactly what most of my clients say, is they go, oh, what about the other percent? Well, the other percent is the other answer. I mean, the other percent is the other answer. Bring it back. Think about that. And again, I tell people, I'm like, this is what I see for you, because this is the path that you're on right now. If you change your mind about something, it could change tomorrow. If this is the path that you are on and you don't like it, change something. This did happen. I've used this example because this lady actually told me I could say this. She actually told me I could use her name, but I'm not using her name. She was like, I'm so sick of my hairdresser. She's ridiculous. She's overpriced, but she's unprofessional. I'm tired of her. Every time I go to her, the prices are different. You know, she keeps going up and it's so unprofessional. I'm just tired of going to her. And I can't leave until I find somebody else. And I was just like, okay. I know this is important because y'all know how I am about my hair. You know how I am about my eyelashes. I mean, I love my hairdresser. I've been seeing her since before I had thing 2. Again, back to this. This woman, I was like, okay, I do see you finding another hairdresser, but I feel like you almost find them organically. And I was like, but it's not going to be for a while. And she was like, girl, no, I need some help now. And I was like, I don't know what this is then. You need to start calling people. You need to start talking to people. If you see somebody that has beautiful hair, then you need to tell them they have beautiful hair and ask where they get their hair done. And I was like, literally, that's what you need to do. And I said, you know, keep going down this path. And I said, because right now you're not on the path to find this mythical hairdresser out there that's going to be great for you. And I said, so you need to change something up. You need to change something up in your routine, whatever you need to do. And she was like, okay. She took it to heart. All she did was go to a different grocery store. She went to a different grocery store. She was like, you know what? I'm always going to this grocery store. I'm just going to listen to Jennifer and just see what happens. Because she's probably just yanking me around anyway. But I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to this grocery store today. She went in there. It was a really busy store. She was immediately pissed at me because she went to a store that was like busier than her usual grocery store. Immediately pissed at me. And she told me that. She said she was standing in line for checkout, cussing my name. Love that. And when she finally pulled her head out of her butt, she looked up and the girl in front of her had beautiful hair. She said it was stunning. And she just reached and tapped her on the shoulder and she said, I am so sorry to bother you. She said, but your hair is absolutely gorgeous. She said, where do you have it done? And the lady went, I do it. I'm a hairdresser. That is her hairdresser now. The lady works at like, sort of like where my hairdresser is at like a salon suites. So she has her own place within a place. You know what I'm saying? And she was just like, I do my hair. I'm a hairdresser. And she was like, ah, girl. She went and got her hair done. She was really happy. The next time I saw her, she was just like, ha, ha, ha. And she told me she was cussing my name standing in that line. But it changed. It changed. That was just a few days after her reading. And when I had been talking to her, I saw it being months because she had to change her mind about something. So again, that's why I now tell people heavily on the percentages. And most of the time, the percentages are between 45 and 57. They're mostly in the middle because people change their minds so often. People change their minds like you would not believe how quickly people change their minds. And it did not used to be like this. When I did readings for people in the early 2000s or even in the late 90s, when I did readings for people, their minds did not change that quick. It didn't. You know what changed? Smartphones. Smartphones. We get our information so much quicker because I have 11 email addresses that I check every day. All right. Between my two phones, between my work phone and my personal phone, I check all of those email addresses. I look at different Google, not Google, YouTube channels, and I'm like out there monitoring stuff. I'm trying to help the people that I coach on YouTube. I'm looking at all these things and I can almost, not 100%, but I can almost run my businesses from my phones. Do you know there was a time that there wasn't even a computer in our house? So, this changed the game. And I can almost, like, it was so crazy when I started, like, doing readings at this little fair. It wasn't like a huge one. It was just a really small one. When I started doing readings, I could almost tell you the exact time when it started to change, when things started to move so much faster. And then, like, the shitstorm of social media, are you kidding me? People change their minds based on the last thing that they read or heard. I'm not saying that's what happened with Kim Kardashian, but I am saying if someone gives you guidance, if you go to a reader and they give you guidance, let it be that guidance. Maybe it helps you get unstuck. Maybe it helps you to think or look at a situation differently. It is guidance. I don't care if it comes from me, your minister, a reader that costs $1,500 an hour, whatever. You use it as guidance. You pick up what you need and you leave the rest. Because maybe not everything that I'm saying would apply to you. But the thing is, like, I have talked to people where I'm like, they came to me and asked me, they're wanting to know about their relationship. This happens a lot. They're wanting to talk to me about their relationship. That's all they want to talk to me about. But over and over, their guides are just wanting to talk about their finances. Their guides are wanting me to push through and talk about their home, their finances, over and over. And so I bring it up. And I'll say, okay, look, your grandmother or your great aunt on your father's side, whoever, they really want you to focus on your finances. I know you're asking about your relationship, but they really, really, really want to look at your finances. They want to know about your home. They want to know about your car. They want to know blah, blah, blah. Now, this has come up just in the past few years where this woman had no idea. And when we were talking, she was like, I don't know about that. I don't know whose name the house is in. I don't even know how much the mortgage is. I'm like, hun, you are living in the 21st century. What? And she's like, I think my car is in my husband's name because it's like his birth month is on my sticker. I was like, you need to rectify that. And she was like, that's so weird because he said that he had a meeting with our financial advisor like in the next couple of days. And I was like, why don't you just piggyback onto that? Long story short, nothing was in her name. Nothing. And he had been stepping out on her, which is what she wanted to know. But her guides didn't want to focus on the fact that he was stepping out on her. Her guides wanted to focus on the fact that this was her finances. So she did. She told him, she said, I want to go. And he could not find a reason for her not to. He had unfortunately told her the time and the appointment. She knew their financial advisor. So she went. She joined the appointment and she was like, I want to know why. I want to know why this isn't in my name. And he was just like, well, because of blah, blah, blah. He was just making up stuff. And the financial advisor then realized what he was doing. And so he was like, look, you guys need to work this out. But yeah, if you're married and you guys have been married for like 15 years, this needs to be worked out. So before everything got, before they divorced, because they did, she had her car in her name. She had her name on the deed because initially she was on the mortgage, even though she didn't know anything about it, but she wasn't on the deed to the house. That's a big difference, right? So she had been working, she had been contributing. She didn't realize that he owned a percentage of her business. And she was like, well, do I own a percentage of your business? Because they were both business owners. And she goes, well, if you own a percentage of my business, then I want a percentage of yours. He released that percentage of her business that he owned back to her. And a few months later, after she got all of that taken care of, the car put into her name, his name off of her business, all of that stuff, she went to an attorney and she filed for divorce. That's why her guides wanted her to focus on the financial aspect. Because I think if I had told her, your husband's stepping out on you 100%, I wouldn't have said 100%. But if your husband is stepping out on you, she would have been heartbroken. She would have been in the fetal position crying and, like mainlining Ben and Jerry's, which is what I would have been doing. Well, Entenmann's Donuts. But you see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes our guides want to redirect what we need to focus on. And again, I'm not saying that this is what happened with Kim Kardashian. I've never read for this woman. I admire her. I think she's a hell of a businesswoman. And seriously, thanks for making big asses like popular. But I would have looked at her chart and I would have been like, girl, you swimming upstream. You are going against the current, taking this exam during this particular time. Taking this exam while South Node is in your midhaven, not advisable, but if you're going to do it, at least wait until your midhaven's ruler is in a better place and not in Sagittarius, okay? Because Sagittarius is not a happy place for Mercury. It's not. And retrograde? Are you kidding me? Or even like in the retrograde shadow. Not what we want. Focusing on what you want, not what you don't. Yes. Yes. So that's all I'm saying. And I have like talked to people about this. I've got people applying for jobs, apartments, schools, buying houses, like signing marriage certificates, all this stuff during Mercury retrograde. And I'm like, you know what? You have to live your life. You cannot stop your life because Mercury is retrograde. It goes retrograde like several times a year, more than any other planet, because Mercury goes retrograde 3 or 4 times a year, depending on when it hits, you know. But you can't stop your life. I have bought cars during Mercury retrograde. Again, I have clients that have gotten married, have to sign paperwork, whatever, you know. But again, I have a client that is like doing interviews, and I was like, if you can possibly, just possibly, make this happen after this date, it would be so much better. So she was like, okay. So she scheduled her interviews outside of some of this chaos. All right? Because if you're interviewing, you have to talk. If you're interviewing, it's a lot of communication and it's a lot of trying to put your energy out there. And that is Mercury to a T. Mercury is our planet of communication. And I don't think that if you're trying to communicate and make sure that you look really good for somebody, that you want your planet of communication in opposition to chaos and conjunct the planet of war, Mars. It's not a good look. It's not. And again, even before these planets are in opposition, like in direct opposition or in direct conjunction, we feel the energy. We feel the energy before and after. Just like we're talking about the shadow of Mercury retrograde before it goes retrograde and after. So, all of that being said, when you go to a reader, when you listen to readings online, and I do listen to readings online because, again, I'm nosy. And I want to see how other people are doing it. And oh my gosh, especially if they're using a deck of cards that I've not seen, you know I got to see that. But all of that being said, listen to your own inner guidance. Do what's best for you. And if you don't like your reading, change something. Change something in your life. Change the way that you drive home every day. Change the way that you put on your clothes in the morning. I mean, change something in your typical routine. Don't go to the same store. Don't go to the same, I don't know, shopping mall or whatever. Change something in your routine. I mean, instead of taking a shower in the morning, take a shower at night. I don't know. I'm just throwing examples out there. But if you don't like your reading, or if you don't like what is going on in your life, change something. Change it. See what happens. It can make a huge difference. Again, I had a client that found her hairdresser standing in line at a Kroger, cursing my name because she was just like, God dang it, Jennifer. I mean, I listened to you and here I am standing in line, wasting my time. And then she looks up and there's a girl with gorgeous hair standing in front of her. It's pretty interesting, you know? But if you don't like it, change. Change something. What is your guidance telling you to do? Don't just listen to me. Don't listen to the cards if you're reading your own cards. Listen to your guidance. Do what's right for you. And again, if it's a mistake, it's a mistake. Who cares? I mean, but the thing is, you gave it a shot, right? I make lots of mistakes. If you feel like you've made a mistake and you can't undo it, call me, because I have made so many mistakes. I mean, I could write books on it. So please, don't feel like there's something that you can't change. I'm so thirsty. Y'all, I've had the worst case of like acid reflux. What a hassle. And then I like get really thirsty because like, you know, my throat's really dry. And I'm trying to finish recording videos that are supposed to come out on the 15th. I got 4 days. I can finish them. Yeah. What do you think, Mercury? Yeah? I know. She's so pretty. Won't let me catch her. Well, she's headed to the food bowl. I mean, she's got one over here, but she and Mouse have another food bowl over here. So, you know, they have to go back and forth and make sure that the other one doesn't have something that they don't have. It's very interesting. Well, hello, Mouse. Okay, somebody's eating over there. Can we just let her eat? Look at all these people that want to say hey to you. Hey! It's really cold outside. Hey! Okay, you guys, I think, like, don't forget, like, after this video wraps, and if you watch your numerology videos for November, either the ones that have already come out at the beginning of the month or the middle of the month, if you leave a comment, I will enter you into the giveaway for the Rainbow Moonstone that I'm giving away for November. This is the crystal of the month, and isn't she pretty? This, I want to remind you, this is the last 2 months in this 9-year. So it is a good time to release. We are moving into a new cycle starting in 2026. I'm very excited about that because I just love it. And the last 1 year that we had was 2017. So you can kind of look at the cycles, see what happened. What do you think? I know it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sweet. Oh my gosh. I know it. You are the sweetest. Yes, you are. Isn't he the sweetest? I mean, Mercury's the sweetest too, but she's like running right now. So, okay, but don't sit on that. I'm drinking out of that. All right, you guys. Well, I hope y'all have an awesome week. Thank you for joining me tonight. I can see some of you in here, but like really only Only Mel and I see Carol in Facebook, but if you are watching this in the reruns, which I get a lot of comments in the rerun parts, please listen to your inner guidance. And don't worry if you miss this 1111 portal, this big thing that everybody's been talking about on like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. I don't think it's the best time for manifesting. Typically, I would say it's a 4-day. Manifest the hell out of it. Yeah, I would. Especially that we're in a 9-year and we're sort of closing up this cycle and moving into a new cycle next year. But the timing, it's just not right. It's like finding something perfect on sale, but it's not the right time for you to buy it because maybe you don't have money or maybe you don't have room in your closet. It's not the right time. It's just my opinion. Okay? Do what you want with that. All right. Well, I hope you guys have I really, really hope you guys have an awesome night. Tomorrow, Mars is conjunct Mercury. On the 18th, Mercury retrogrades back into Scorpio. Then we got the direct opposition of Mercury and Uranus on the 19th. On the 20th, new moon in Scorpio. That's good. It's a good thing. Then we've got Sagittarius season starting on the 21st. Oh, we have a nice trine of Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter on the 22nd. That's a good one. That's a really, really good one. And it's a water trine. We love that. Another water trine happening on the 26th. Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn that time. Then we have Saturn going direct on Thanksgiving Day. Mercury goes direct on the 29th. And Venus goes into Sagittarius on the 30th. All right. This is going to be good. This is going to be great. And I'm so glad your guidance told you to do that, Mel. You rock the Casbah. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Again, don't forget to drop a comment on YouTube so that I can enter you to win. All right. If you're watching on Facebook, which I see a couple of you in there. If you're watching on Facebook, just the only way that you're going to get entered to win is a comment on YouTube because that's where I pull from. Okay. I hope you guys have an awesome night. And until we see each other again, what are you going to do? Get out there and make your magic. Bye.